he who saw the deep. These words, chiseled into clay over 4 millennia ago, mark the beginning of the Epic of Gilgamesh, humanity's oldest narrative. In ancient Uruk, where the Tigris and Euphrates rivers nurtured civilization, a king's journey from tyranny to wisdom unfolded. Recent archaeological evidence confirms his historical reign over a city whose grandeur rivaled any of its time, its walls and ziggurats testament to ambition realized in stone and starlight. Gilgamesh ruled Uruk with unmatched power, 2/3 god, 1/3 man. Son of Lugalbanda and the goddess Ninsun, he possessed supernatural strength and beauty that set him apart from ordinary mortals. Yet this divine heritage became his curse, creating an unbridgeable gulf between himself and his subjects. His rule crushed Uruk's spirit. He seized sons for labor and daughters for pleasure, betraying the sacred trust between king and people. The city's once vibrant streets fell silent under his oppression, and the people's lamentations reached the gods themselves. Anu, sky god, commanded Aruru to create a counterforce. By the riverside, she molded clay into Enkidu, powerful and free, a being who would challenge the tyrant king and alter his destiny forever. Enkidu emerged from the wilderness, untamed and magnificent. He ran with gazelles, drank alongside lions, and freed animals from hunters' traps. When a trapper found his snares broken, he sought Shamhat, a temple priestess, to tame this wild man. Shamhat met Enkidu at a watering hole and remained with him for 7 days and nights. Through her companionship, Enkidu learned humanity, drinking wine, eating bread, speaking words. The animals fled from his transformed presence, but he gained knowledge of civilization and of Gilgamesh's tyranny. Driven by righteous anger, Enkidu journeyed to Uruk. There, at the gates where Gilgamesh was about to exercise his first night privilege with a bride, the two titans clashed. Their battle shook the city's foundations, pillars cracked. Walls trembled as they grappled, neither yielding. Finally, exhausted and bloodied, they paused. In Enkidu, Gilgamesh recognized something he had never found before: an equal. Their enmity dissolved into respect. Then friendship, a bond that would reshape both their lives. Restless for glory, Gilgamesh proposed a journey to the distant Cedar Forest to slay its guardian, the terrible Humbaba. Enkidu, knowing the forest's dangers, warned against challenging this divinely appointed sentinel whose roar is floodwater, whose breath is fire. Yet Gilgamesh's thirst for immortal fame prevailed. Armed with weapons of exceptional craftsmanship, they journeyed across 7 mountains to reach the forest's heart. As they approached, Humbaba's roar shattered the stillness. The monster emerged, face contorted with fury at the intruders. The battle was fierce and desperate. Humbaba commanded the forest itself against them, but working together, Gilgamesh and Enkidu prevailed. As the guardian fell to Gilgamesh's blade, he cursed them. May the gods demand payment for this day. They felled the sacred cedars and returned to Uruk triumphant, unaware that divine retribution would soon follow. Upon their triumphant return to Uruk, Gilgamesh bathed and donned royal robes. His renewed vigor and magnificence caught the eye of Ishtar, goddess of love and war. She approached him with divine seduction. "Be my husband, Gilgamesh. I will give you riches beyond measure, chariot of lapis lazuli, kings as servants, endless abundance." Gilgamesh, wiser now, refused her with scorn. "What happens to your lovers? The shepherd you turned to a wolf? The gardener you crippled? I would share their fate." Ishtar's rage was terrible. She ascended to heaven and demanded of her father Anu, "Give me the bull of heaven to destroy Gilgamesh." Reluctantly, Anu released the celestial beast. It descended upon Uruk with devastating force. Each snort created abysses. Each hoof fall killed hundreds. The city trembled as Gilgamesh and Enkidu faced this divine weapon. Their battle with the bull ravaged Uruk streets. Enkidu seized the beast by its tail while Gilgamesh delivered the killing blow between its horns. The city rejoiced at their victory, but that night Enkidu had a foreboding dream. The gods convened in council. Enlil thundered, "These mortals have killed Humbaba and the Bull of Heaven. Such defiance cannot stand." Despite pleas from Shamash, the sun god who had aided them, divine judgment fell. Enkidu must die. Illness seized Enkidu. For 12 days he wasted away, his strength once rival to Gilgamesh sebbing like water into sand. Gilgamesh refused to leave his side, denying the approaching reality. "My friend," Enkidu whispered, "I saw the underworld in a dream. Dust was their food, clay their meat. The ones I knew in life sat crowned in darkness." Gilgamesh clutched his hand. "I will establish your name forever." When Enkidu breathed his last, Gilgamesh's howl of grief echoed through Uruk streets. He covered his friend's face like a bride's, then roamed the wilderness in animal skins, his royal trappings abandoned. Consumed by grief and fear of his own mortality, Gilgamesh journeyed to the ends of the earth. "I will find Utnapishtim, the one human granted eternal life by the gods. He will share his secret." His path led through mountain passes guarded by scorpion people, across the sea of death, and through waters that destroyed any mortal who touched them. At last, he reached Utnapishtim's distant shore. The Immortal One regarded Gilgamesh with ancient eyes. "Why do you chase after the wind?" "Death is the fate of all mankind." He recounted how he had survived the great flood by building an ark, how the gods had granted him eternal life as a unique gift. "But for you, there is no permanent escape." Still, Utnapishtim offered a challenge. "Conquer sleep, the little death, for 6 days and 7 nights." Exhausted from his journey, Gilgamesh failed immediately, sleeping for 7 days straight. Upon waking, Utnapishtim's wife took pity on him and revealed a secret. There grows a plant at the bottom of the ocean that restores youth. Gilgamesh tied stones to his feet, descended to the ocean floor, and retrieved the thorny plant. "I will test it on an old man in Uruk," he decided, "and if he grows young, I will eat it myself." On his return journey, he stopped to bathe in a cool pool. While he swam, a serpent smelled the plant's sweetness, devoured it, and slithered away, shedding its skin renewed. Gilgamesh wept at this final loss. Empty-handed, he returned to Uruk and looked upon its walls with new eyes. "This is the legacy I built. This is what remains." The city welcomed its king's return not as a conqueror of death, but as a man who had journeyed to wisdom's edge. Gilgamesh ruled with justice and compassion, recording his adventures on stone tablets for future generations. The walls of Uruk stood as his monument, their grandeur a testament not to tyranny, but to human possibility. Though death would eventually claim him as it had claimed Enkidu, his story etched in clay would echo through millennia.